Okay, can you hear me now? All right, check, check, check. Can you hear me? Face. I'm sorry, say that again. Okay. All right. All right. All right, no problem. All right. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. I'm thinking about I saw you speak straight to you go over HBCU. All right, let's get back into it. All right, sorry about that, Sean. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off. So we had a brief introduction where I told y'all a little bit about me. We're gonna go over 3 components of what I feel is the best strategy for you to break into the tech industry. That is the destination, the consistency, and the preparation. These 3 components, in my opinion, they are the best avenue for you to come from a non-technical background. Now, if you all don't take anything from today, I want you all to take away these 2 things. Okay. Number 1, a journey with no destination is just one. Okay. Now, y'all forgive me. I'm a musician. I was raised in the Baptist church. I believe Paul with the funk. So I'm going to say that I want y'all to. A journey with no destination is just one. Say it with me now. A journey with no destination. Out. We're going to have a good day today, y'all. Now, what does that mean? First, I'm glad you asked. Okay. How can you get somewhere if you don't know where you're going? I'm going to ask you again. How can you get somewhere if you don't know where you're going? Okay. A journey with no destination is just one. And at the end of the day, we're here on this world for a little. Number 2, this is the equation for luck. I believe there is no such thing as luck. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. All right. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. Say it with me now. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. Come on. Without further ado, my name is Jason Bright. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the team at the Media Path. Once again, y'all, thank y'all so much for your time. And I hope that you all can get something from this today. Okay. We only got 19 slides. It's not gonna be death by PowerPoint. We're gonna go through them expeditiously. We're gonna open the floor for questions. All right. And I want you all to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. So, what is my story? As I kind of delved into a little bit before we got started, I am Jason Bright. I am from Vicksburg, Mississippi, born and raised. I am a 2013 graduate of Alcorn State University, where I majored in criminal justice, and I policed from 2014 to 2020. And a funny thing happened where I ended up having my first child, had my first son, Carson. And so in order for me to increase my compensation, I changed my occupation, if that makes sense. So in 2020, I received my master's degree from Bill Staffs College in accounting. And I was an accountant for 2 years, and I did some nonprofit work for a year. But I had my second son. And so in an effort for me to increase my compensation, best course of action was for me to change my occupation. And in 2022, I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to serve as full stack software developer for Horn LLC. Now, when we get into this, I try to be very intentional about the things that I do. I want that for everyone. Okay. We want to move forward with intentionality. Everything we do for a reason. So with that being said, this was my strategy when I made the decision to get into the technology industry. The first thing I did was I knew my destination. Now, was it where I ended up? No, but I had a destination in mind. Okay. You're going to hear me say this a few times. Where you start does not dictate where you end up, but you want to have somewhere to start. Okay. The second thing I did was I gained experience. Was it paid experience? Absolutely not. But it was experience nonetheless. Now, you don't have to say, I need to work this job in the tech industry. I need to go and do this to get experience. No, you can create your own experience. And we're going to go over that as we get further into the presentation. And the third thing I did was I strategically applied for a position. Unfortunately, when I was in public accounting, I was laid off. I got laid off on a Friday. I mourned my loss. On Monday morning, I woke up at 8 o'clock. I took my boys to daycare and I started telling. Okay. You don't have time to wait. I strategically applied for a position. What that means is that I didn't just throw resumes to the east. I didn't go and I clicked apply on LinkedIn 100 times. And I was like the people who you see on social media. I applied for 1,000 jobs. I only got called back. We don't have time to waste. You understand? Because I knew my destination, because I was consistent, I was able to be prepared. Okay? And I want y'all to understand preparedness is privilege. And today we're going to unlock all the ways that you can have the privilege. Okay? So, also, musician, Baptist church, I speak in amen and you feel. Y'all feel it? All right. Amen. All right. All right. Boy, come on now. Okay, shout up here. What are my opportunities? Because I was prepared, because remember, luck is equal to preparation meeting opportunity. Because I was prepared, when the opportunities arose, I was able to take advantage of it. I was in the hiring process for 2 different opportunities. The first one was for a technology consulting firm in Minnesota called Your Consulting. They have a program that's called Barriers B2E. And what this program is designed to do is designed to take people from non-technical backgrounds and give them a paid apprenticeship for about a year. And then that apprenticeship leads into a full-time. So I was in the second round for that. I did well. In the barrier to entry program, there was no formal interview. I took an assessment. And I did well, and I was in the second round for it. The second process I was in the second round for an insurance company that's located in Florida. I did well in the first round. I made it to the second round. And I was 99% sure that I was going to wind up at that insurance company. However, I don't believe in absolutes. I held out for 1%. And that's when I got the phone call that changed everything. I will never forget it. It was a phone number from out in Florida. And if you know me, hey, that's bill collector. I'm sorry what the things about. I got money. But the man upstairs, I went on ahead and picked up. And it was a recruiter who pulled my resume from a recruiting platform that we'll go over with today. And he said, I see on your resume that you did an accounting internship at this firm. Well, we're hiring for software engineers for that same firm. How would you like to go back? I told him, sir, I'll leave this process right now. And sure enough, I did 1 round interview. And that's how I landed with Cornell, same place that I did my accounting. Never forget, a journey with no destination is just one. Say it with me now. A journey with no destination is just one. We ain't got time. Y'all feel me? All right. Or do y'all prefer amen? Amen? All right. Now, let's get into the destination. This is the most crucial piece of your journey. At the end of the day, if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get it. So, you're going to ask me, Jason, what's first? Well, person, I'm glad you asked. The first thing you want to do is know where you want to land. Again, I'll say, know where you want to land. The technology industry is so vast. There's so many different things to do, so many areas of engineering. So you want to do your research and figure out where you want to end up. Now, don't be afraid, because where you start at does not dictate where you end. But you want to at least get a picture of what that landscape looks like. You want to say, am I going to do a technical role, or am I going to pursue a non-technical role? Am I going to be a software engineer, or do I want to be a project manager? Do I want to be a product manager? Because there's something in tech for everybody. There's something in tech for everybody. And finally, think, do I want to sit in front of the computer all day? Am I cool with that? Is that something that I don't mind doing? Or do I want to be in front of people? Do I want to have a hybrid of both? This is where your research comes in. Because at the end of the day, you want to know where you want to land. Second thing, do your research. Do your research. How's the salary? There's a song out there where they say money is a motivator, and I 100% agree. Okay? What are the remote offerings? When you talk about technology, you can be in office, you can be remote. There's space for every single person. And third, what about certifications? What about extra knowledge? What do I need to know if I want to get in this position? Because there are some positions out there where it will behoove you, or it will be in your favor if you do some learning, get certification. What are those jobs? What are those certifications? How much do they cost? Is the investment worth the return? Or what's my return on the investment? And finally, picking your first role. Don't be afraid, y'all. The process is going to take however long it's going to take. But I guarantee you, every day that you put it off, it's going to take that much longer. If it's going to take you 6 months, if you wait another 6 months, it's going to take you a year. If it takes you a year, if you wait a year, it's going to take you 2 years. You'll never get where you're going if you don't start. Okay? Where you begin your career does not have to be where you. I'm not sure. I'm 60%. I don't know if I want to be a software engineer or if I want to be a project manager. I don't know if I want to delve in front end or back end. That's okay. Just make a decision. Indecisive is the killer of so many. Because at the end of the day, a journey with no destination is just one. And if you never start, you never finish. And this last point is near and dear to my heart. Because there were many times in my career, my multiple careers, where I was told, well, you just don't have the passion for the job. We don't see the passion. Work ain't about passion. It's about you coming in every day, doing what you're supposed to. Now, if you have some passion when you come in, that's good. That's good. When we talk about tech, passion is not required. You're here, you're learning skills. You're here to be a part of a team. You're here to contribute. Passion can be developed over time. So I don't want you all to even begin to have that seed planted in your mind where if I don't have a passion for this, I won't succeed. Anybody passionate, okay? It's about cutting these checks, it's about paying these bills. I'm passionate about that, amen? Amen. All right. Now, any questions? Anybody? Now I have allotted 10 minutes for each section for questions. So, you're supposed to be here till 1:30. Yes, ma'am. Mhm. So for me, my encouragement was I was blessed enough to get separate package when I was laid off from my job. But I didn't have time to wonder if it wasn't going to work out. So in software development and software engineering, you have what's called incremental thinking. Okay. Incremental thinking means you take one big problem, you break it down into smaller pieces. If I waste my time worrying about whether or not it's going to work out, that's time I can spend building out a project. That's time I can spend learning. So it never crossed my mind this wasn't going to work out. I'll tell you why. I optimized my LinkedIn. I saw that there were 13,000 entry-level software engineers. I'm laying one up. Come on now, I'm laying one up. If I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll land one. So I want you all to be encouraged. Okay. At the end of the day, the process is going to take. Okay. Well, not exactly. That's give it to it now. You got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. So when you talk about optimizing your LinkedIn, does everyone here know what it is? Is everyone on LinkedIn? Are you on LinkedIn? No, that's fine. That's fine. So the way that the recruiting process works, your LinkedIn page is, and optimizing your LinkedIn, that you're using keywords, you're using a certain type of structure when you're formalizing your page. So some people will say, my name is Jason Bright. I think because I optimized my LinkedIn, I had old folks taking up a page. Oh, so for your role, trying to break into tech, and this can be a little bit tricky because we don't know how. We know people can be nosy in our current job, so take this, try to be a little bit responsible with this. And if you're in sales, if you're trying to get into tech, they're looking for talking, they're looking for project managers, they're looking for these different types of technical roles. So you would change the title, not your job, not lying, but you're going to change the title of LinkedIn to software engineer. You're going to put keywords behind it. So that way, when these recruiters are searching for you, you appear in their search. You can find them. You can do a quick Google search. It depends on where you're trying to go, because certain, and your keywords are going to be tied to your skills. We'll get into that later. And the skills, I'm talking about skills for your job. And there's actually a platform that I use called JobScan that allows you to actually optimize your LinkedIn. It's going to be called JobScan, JobScan.co. JobScan.co. Yes. No, what you'll do is you'll actually create a PDF copy and you'll upload it to the platform. What is my title? Or what is the title of LinkedIn? So it's going to be right under your profile picture. So if you notice, and usually your title is going to be aligned with your current role. So say, what's your name? Evelyn. All right. So it'll be Evelyn, then it'll be sales manager at this company. And so it's usually automatically populated, but you can actually go in and edit. So that way you can show up and it's called SEO, search engine. So you can show up in those searches. Yes. Yes. And you're going to upload that PDF into the. So JobScan is what's called an applicant tracking system. I'm pretty sure you all have run into the thing where you apply for a job and never that. So they're putting your resume through an applicant tracking system. And if you don't score high enough, you don't have enough keywords, then you don't show up as someone who would be a strong engineer. So that's what jobscan.co is. It's an applicant tracking system. Next, the consistency. So we know where we want to go. We have done the research. We said we're going to go for this job. We're going to do A, B, C, and D. This is where we want to end up. This is what work is, y'all. This is the unsexy part. Because everybody gets motivated. Everybody wants to go into something. But you need to have the consistency. You need to have the discipline. And that's something that was what made my family. I got laid off on a Friday. I woke up on it. And I started coding. Every single day. Building our project. Building our project. Building our project. It's because of the consistency that I was prepared. Okay. Yes. So I actually did, I'm glad you asked. I actually did 2 boot camps. 2 boot camps. I was in one, and it was called Generation USA. So Generation USA, all one word. It's a completely free boot camp. They're a nonprofit, and they're geared towards putting people through technology. And when I saw that Generation USA, I was in a part-time self-paced school, but laid off. I got time now. I decided to go to another boot camp called Coder Foundry. So CODER FOUNDR. And I did their self-paced school. And so that's what I was doing every day. So the information was already out for me, and it was just up to me to do the work. And that's what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Mhm.
And I've learned a lot, but I feel like to make it.
Yeah.
And I was confident in myself.
Absolutely not. Because you already have enough. However, are you putting out projects?
Yeah, I mean, we've done projects.
Well, and so when I talk about projects, there's a difference in building out project plans, yeah, building out project plans. And so what you want to do in your situation, you want to on YouTube, careful, ocean, a lot of information out there. You're gonna talk about navigating. And you want to build out what I call single scope projects, which means they only cover one specific skill set. You want to build out what I call enterprise grade. These are things that cover a wide array. So say for instance, you're doing data science. I'm pretty sure that's all we're building. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing Python, you're going to be putting a good project, a good single scope project. Where you're pulling in. That's a good single scope project. Now, to take that to the next level, enterprise, you're going to incorporate other level or okay. So you're going to take that information that Python, you want to build up what it, then you want to put together a presentation. That's yeah. So there are a lot of languages out there. It all depends on your destination. So since, what's your name, bro? Nick. So since Nick is a data science, Python is one of the core languages. But at the end of the day, it all depends on you knowing where you want to end up. All right. So what's next? We talked about learning. I'm glad y'all brought it, because this is such a huge piece where people get lost in the sauce. Okay. The first thing, what do I learn? I'm pretty sure if you try to break into tech, you've asked yourself, what am I supposed to learn? Analyze job postings. What does that mean? Person, I'm glad you asked. Okay. So me, I'm a .NET. I'm going to take three, no more than three .NET development job postings, and I'm going to see what those required skills are. That tells me what I need to learn. Because in the technology industry, we have a bad habit of naming one job 1,000 different things. But the skills stay the same. If I'm a .NET developer, I need to know the language. I need to know Visual Studio as a development environment. I need to know some SQL. I need to know Visual Studio Code as another development environment. Those things never change. And that's how you know what you want. It's in the job description. Now, like I said, required skills, that's what you need to learn. But keep your list of jobs small. Keep it small. Okay. Here's one. This is a research thing. So by you taking 3 jobs, you're pulling a sample size of the entire population. So 9 times out of 10, what's on those 3 jobs? If it applies to 3, it's going to apply to 300. If it applies to 300, it'll likely apply to 3,000. Okay? That's why you want to keep the sample size small. How much do I learn? We talked about YouTube, the ocean that is YouTube. So much is out. You want to learn enough to start building out front. Okay. Now this delves kind of into experience, but let's think about this. Going forward, if I want to be a software engineer, how do I gain experience? Engineer something. If I want to be a data analyst, what do I do to gain experience? If I want to be a project manager, what do? I go find somebody's project and I go manage. Okay. So you want to learn enough to start building. Because see, there's a path that you follow. You learn, that's where we are now, we're learning. You build, and then you demonstrate. Or to put it into different terms, you acquire knowledge. Then you apply your knowledge. And you demonstrate your knowledge. Amen? And the last thing, build a portfolio. A portfolio is a body of work that covers your experience. And so since we're trying to break into tech, we may not have that first role. We got to have that role to get experience. And so this is where a portfolio. Now, usually you'll do a website, maybe you'll use Wix or you'll use Square, or if you're actually developing your own website. But you want to have a place that houses all of your relevant. And the last piece, this is between you and your deity of choice. How do I learn? How do I learn? There are 3 different pathways to learn. The first, self-study. Everyone says, oh, I can self-study. I can go to YouTube. I can go and take this Coursera course. I can do this Udemy course. Yeah, Udemy. Yeah, I'm Yeah, you know, I take these courses, I can do this, and they never make it because they feel like it's not enough, you know, because they don't understand that you only need to know enough to start building. And they also don't understand that it takes an incredible amount for you to go into something unstructured. You have to have focus, you have to have destination in mind, you have to have all these other things people don't think about when they say, I want to learn something. At the end of the day, YouTube information, it's an ocean. And unless you are practiced navigating, you're gonna have a hard time. The second part is self-paced learning. To me, this is the best of both worlds. You know, the information is out there, there's structure, there are tons of self-paced courses. You know, they're not as expensive as boot camp, and we're talking about cost, but it's not free like going out there into the ocean of information. But to me, self-paced courses are happy, okay? Because you can do what you're supposed to do, you can work at your own pace. Now, at the end of the day, I want you all to think about this other engineering concept called the okay, as you get on your learning journey, strive to get 1% better. Okay? Some days you're gonna hit it. Some days you're gonna exceed abundantly. Some days you're gonna fall below. But it's just 1%. And at the end of the day, we're trying to be consistent. And the last piece is instructor led. This can be in the form of boot camp. This can be in the form of you going to school. Personally, I got the money for it. Leave me. I ain't got no discipline. Leave me. Because you're going to be in this structured environment. You know, you're going to be in this place that's art with the path made up. Now, you have to be very conscious of the instructor led program. You want to make sure that they do things like all the time. You want to make sure that you're building out projects. You want to make sure that you're building out enterprise grade projects. Okay? So there's a little bit of research that's involved, and there is some led. But to me, the instructor-led piece, that is going to be your most expensive. Your most expensive, your most time consuming. But if you can find one that's priced not as good as a good self-paced course, but it's amazing. Right? All right, I'll open the floor for questions because we covered boot camp, talking about learning. Any questions there? Hi. It depends on if you can do a project. It depends on cost. It depends on if skill that's needed. So it all depends on that. Sarah, Clariside, Udemy, they're amazing, amazing. But if you are like $2, and I'm learning this job skill, so you know what's good. So my opinion, you're quick to take advantage. Anybody else? Question? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, hold what you got. Yes. Yeah. And so There's a formula that I've noticed. You have the field, you have the role. So there are tons of fields out there. Here, back-end developer, front-end developer. You have roles such as architect, engineer, developer, analyst. And so we're looking for these entry-level jobs, especially in security. You're going to be looking for security or a SOC or security operations or junior security engineer. Is that everything? Yeah. Mhm. Yep. The same thing for data. You have data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, data architect, all this other stuff. You have a question?
Put the job or requirements. Sometimes there's. Are they saying? With that,
The person who creates that job posting, they're 9 times out of 10, they're going to work in HR. They're going to work with personnel.
so they just putting it out.
Yeah, that's, and usually, cream it out. They base their post on another post.
Okay.
We're not worried about you. Okay. Entry level, they say 2 to 3 years. If you apply to a position that I offer, you know Python, you know SQL, you know R, you know Power BI. I ain't really. They're gonna teach you anyway. They're gonna teach you anyway. We're looking to fill 75 to 80% of the job. That's a good ratio. So at the end of the day, if you can come to the board 80, the company's gonna beat you up all day, every day. So especially if you're coming from a non-traditional background, there's also a certain way to structure your resume. And that's going to be what's called a project-based resume. So you're going to put your projects and your experience at the top. Then you're going to put your work experience in the middle section, your education. If you don't have a degree, that's going to usually be the last. Because what you want to catch, the attention that you're trying to draw is to your practice. And that's called a project-based resume. So we're not worried about the years. We're just worried about that. Anybody else? Yeah. Find your field, then you will find the role. And so usually when we talk about entry level or any type of associate level role, it's going to be something that's a junior something, analyst, or even if you're talking about social protection or that's a data or any type of social. So find your field first. Know where know the area that you want to work. And if we're breaking it tech, we're going to look for entry level. So analyst, developer, anything. Now, we have a destination. We have been consistent. We have done all of the stuff that nobody likes to do. Now it's time for preparation. So, Jason, what now? Person, now we start gaining experience. When I was transitioning, and he was actually I didn't know what he did. We were down for a friend's birthday party. We went over to a friend's house. Big house, lunch, big, little. And so, as friends do, I said, well, I'm an IT consultant. You and I were the same criminal justice class. So how are you an IT consultant? He said, man, I had an opportunity to create my own experience. I did some projects together, and an opportunity came. Gaining experience. You don't have to work in tech to gain tech experience. Whether it's dealing with software, dealing with hardware. Honestly, is anybody here old enough to remember MySpace? Right. Look, because people don't understand that you were making your page on MySpace, and you were editing it, and all the good stuff. That's HTML. That's programming. So be very conscious of areas that you can gain experience. First thing is volunteering. Welcome to Big Path. I'm Jason Bright. I would love to have one of you. But volunteering is an amazing way to gain experience. Before I got my role, I had 2 years of experience. I was a software engineer. I asked the president if I could do some IT work for us, for the nonprofit I was working with. And he said, yeah, man, sure, you handle books. I don't care what you do. Long as the money right. That's all I need. Volunteer. It's an amazing way to gain experience. You can get exposed to so much. You never know when a volunteer experience or job shadow or anything of that nature could turn into a full-time. Next, personal projects. Now, we talked about single scope projects. A single scope project. If I am a software engineer and I build a website, that's a single scope project. If I add a ton of functionality to that website, that's enterprise grade. So a single scope project is a project that only covers one particular. An enterprise grade project is a capstone project that covers 3 or more. And last thing is freelance. Emphasis on free. Because if you're new to something, folks probably ain't gonna pay. But that's all right though. At the end of the day, yesterday's price is today's price. Amen. And if I start free today, I get enough experience, I ain't gonna be free tomorrow. And this could be anything. If you have a family member who owns a business, let me build your website. If you have a friend that does music, let me do some analytics. Let me see where you market. If you have someone who is starting an organization, security. Hey, let me show you how to set up your organization. Let me show you some benefits. So, freelance, emphasis on free. These are wonderful ways for you to gain experience. Because at the end of the day, you can create your own experience. Next thing, starting your job. Starting your job. Where do you all think the best is to start your job? Your current job. Start where you are. Guaranteed. If you work for any type of company in the year of our Lord 2023, you got an IT department. 9 times out of 10, your IT department will probably staff as well. But you go and say, hey, can I shadow? Can I set up some time because this is what I'm trying to give you a piece of game? If I'm working somewhere and I'm getting paid $20 an hour, it is more cost effective for my employer to transition me from IT role and pay me 30 or 40 than it is for them to get an external hire and pay them 60. Okay, I'll say that again. If I'm getting paid $20, it is more cost effective for my employer to transition me to an IT role and pay me 30 or 40 than it is for them to do an external hire. Key, very intentional. Okay. So if you have the destination in mind, if you have been consistent, then you now have the leverage to say that I'm bringing this experience to this role that I want to land at. You know, if I just that. Because this is where I want to go. And the key thing about the technology, we love to share them. Somebody come up to me and say, hey, Jason, can I do some shadowing? I built this website and I've hooked up this database to it. Such. I'm going to tell my man, hey, you need to bring this person on. You need to have them do this project. So that way you can build this work. Okay? And that is generally the mentality that people in the industry have. Okay? So start where you are. Next thing, utilize your platform. I talked about LinkedIn. Optimize your LinkedIn. I talked about JobScan. You want to send your resume and send a cover letter to JobScan and have that option. Another platform that we talked about is like shooting dice, like shooting crap, dice.com. That is a platform that, despite its name, very powerful. Dice.com. When my recruiter called me for my job, he pulled my resume from Dice. And so once you get experience, once you optimize your resume, once you have that foundation in place, then you're going to utilize these platforms. Dice, Glassdoor, those are the three I recommend. You're going to start putting yourself out. You're going to start applying for jobs. Being strategic. Because the jobs that we're applying for now, we pull those jobs way back when. So we know what they look like. We know what they look like. We know the work already. And the final piece is utilizing. There are tons of technical tools out there. And he's a team, right? It again. If you're working with a recruiter, they get paid when you get paid. So it's in their best interest, your best, to foster their relationship. Okay? To foster their relationship. And yes. LinkedIn. You're going to look at technical recruiters. There are different hiring agents that you're going to target. I think one that's used here is called mine is Apex. Apex Systems. And then there's another that's called Tech Systems. TEK Systems. And when you're building, when you're reaching out to recruiters, you're building a network. So don't just reach out to one. You're going to want to reach out to at least 2 or 3. And I would have 2 or 3 wherever you want to work. You know, I knew that I wanted to work in remote jobs from Atlanta to DC to Texas. I had 3 recruiters each one. And I still got them, because you never know. And finally, landing the interview. We've done the work. We've been consistent. We've reached out to our recruiters. Well, what happens when we finally get that call? How do we get that call? First thing that we have to do is learn how to navigate our ATS, applicant tracking system. But because we use job scan and because we base our resume on job postings, that's something that we are prepared to face. Second thing is, how do we answer behavior-based questions? We're in the interview. So with the ATS systems, we got a call, they want to interview us, get into the interview. And this is something that I see a lot of people struggle with, behavior-based questions. What I want to introduce you to is called the STAR method, S-T-A-R. So when you're in an interview, like this is going to be a workshop on interview, which is customer service. You're going to answer behavior-based questions. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Situation, task, action, and result. Give you a short example. If someone asks me a question, hey, tell me about the time that you had to handle that person. Well, there was a situation at work where I had two co-workers that had conflict. And so I was tasked with de-escalating that conflict. And so the actions that I took were to sit each one of them down individually, see what the issue was. And the result was we had better communication. And the situation was resolved. Situation, task, action, and result started. You can research this in your spare time, and you can gain all kinds of insights from it. And the final piece of this interview, demo in your project. Y'all kind of see how everything is tied together, right? Very intentional about what I do. Okay. I want you to be very intentional about what you do. Those skills you learn, those projects that you built, you didn't build them for no reason. You built them. So when you get into that interview, and they say, well, you know, we're doing basic questions, we're doing this, they will practice. Especially today, because this is the champion. So those projects that you built, document, because the goal of your project is going to be demonstrated. Sure. Did I get? Oh yeah. No, I was. I'm big into the assessment-based process. So there are times where I think this, everything back. There are times where I apply, I got. There are times where I apply and I really hear back. It's part of the game. All of it, you know, the reason why I had the job that I had because I spent all of the feel myself too much and they hired my senior first in the situation. And I was actually in the process for it started out at $20,000. But it was a different type of role. It was so software. And so the role that I was they were offering hey, but I feel myself. Like, across the target. That's what exact match. Heather, reason why I got that job was because I followed up after I sent that email to my director. Really, a week later, I was called. He said, and I don't know what you did. I was just asking on the market. They would have given you a second round. I said, "Hey, I'm sure enough, I got my offer letter. Everything gets firm. But it was because I followed up. Because I communicated. And also because I was transparent enough to say, hey, I asked too much money. It was because of spirit. Somebody knows. They know. Because I want to do it. Want to come. Because I followed up. Because I really want to say. Because I was confident in the interview. That's how I roll. That's how I transition to tech from a non-tech back. Yeah, and yeah, but at the same time, be open to run. Like I said, like finding it, like you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, you may really get that number, but it might be you know what I'm saying? Then your numbers still increase. Always. It's tech, baby. What gonna be? Look, man, you sound like